By far, one of the best things to work on your college application are your extracurricular activities. Now, I understand that international students love these, so in this video, we're going to look at some extracurricular activities that top Ivy League colleges want to see in your profile, and some of these activities can even be done at home. I mean, it doesn't get simpler than that. Let's get the Google definition out of the way first. Now, anything you do outside of your classroom or sometimes even your school can be counted as an extracurricular activities. And according to US college applications for prospective undergrad students, you can count activities that you've done in high school, which means grades 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, most of you that are applying for a US college are probably starting out or in class 12, which means that you only have the last 3 years to showcase as your activities. Now, I've gone through hundreds of student profiles, and many of these students got into Ivy League's top 50 colleges. I myself am a Cornell graduate, so I understand what colleges look for when they're trying to look at the extracurricular activity section in a college application. Now, after tons and tons of research, I created this flowchart, and these are like the 8 categories in my mind what colleges want to see. Now, by all means, they do not expect you to fall under each one of these 8 categories, but if you can try to hit anywhere between 5 to 6, that would be the best for you. And the reason why you shouldn't do all 8 is, imagine this. I play the guitar and I'm into music, and at the same time I'm doing sports, and then there are 10 or 50 or thousands of other students that have the same 8 different categories. There's no differentiating factor. It's basically just creating robots, right? Like that Three Idiots movie. And that's not what they want to see. You need to make your profile unique. So by selecting the top 5, or I would say like top 5 is wrong. By selecting the 5 out of these 8, you're showcasing your personality in your activities profile. I want to address one of the biggest mistakes that I see students make. I see so many of you just write down your hobby as an extracurricular activity. There is a very fine line between hobby and activity, and let me explain this with an example. Now, suppose I like swimming, right? I love swimming. I swim on the weekends whenever it's sunny, which is almost every other weekend. This is a hobby. There's no activity about it. If you just write this, it is a hobby. Same thing, let's say I play tennis. I play tennis, I take classes, I've learned how to play tennis, I've been doing it since I was 10 years old. Still a hobby. Now, how do you take these 2 hobbies and turn them into activities? It's very simple. I take my hobby and I do something that either has a social impact or helps the community. Now, with my tennis skills, let's say that in my society, I started summer coaching classes for young kids. Suppose I was 16 years old, I started to teach kids that were 8 or 9 years old how to play tennis. I started with the basics. That then becomes an extracurricular activity because you're not simply stating the fact that you know how to do something, which is a hobby. Rather, you're showcasing how you're being useful with that skill set to your community. That usefulness doesn't always have to be to the extent of I cured cancer, right? It doesn't have to be that big. It can be very small as long as you have an impact in your society and your community. Now, if you're stuck at this point and still are confused between something that you have on your profile is a hobby or activity, put it down in the comment below and I will help you identify whether it's a hobby or activity. And if it's a hobby, I will personally guide you through the comment section on what you can do to turn this hobby into a valuable extracurricular activity for your college applications. Now, another comment that I've seen floating around so many videos is that I have X activity, with this activity or X number of activities, can I get into an Ivy League? And there's no yes or no answer to that because there are so many parts to the college application, not just your activities section. Activities play a part of the entire process. It's not the only thing that gets you into an Ivy League. But in my experience, after reviewing multiple hundreds of profiles, I've come up with this formula that can help you understand what can improve your chances even further. So the formula to get into a top 50 college or an Ivy League college is a valuable community impact plus validation. I know this is like all math and I suddenly turned this very complicated. Let me explain with an example. Let's say that I built a science or school project, which was very simple, which is a low-cost air purifier. Now, I was inspired because suppose there are the fires that are happening in LA in the Palisades, and I wanted to create something that was at-home DIY, so people could maybe use this in surrounding areas that are affected. this has a valid community impact. It's very clear. Now, with this project that I created, let's suppose I went and in my local city science fair, I decided to enroll myself and presented this project there. I ended up winning second place, or let's say I didn't even end up winning, I just participated there. That is validation. You took a project, you made sure that it had community impact, and then you went out and did something with it. You explored your horizons. You basically participated to showcase what you did in front of 10, 20, 100 different people who could then judge you, that were not your teachers, that were not your classmates. They were probably people you didn't even know. So this whole circle that you've created, a valuable community impact with validation, is what colleges absolutely love to see in college applications. Now, another example that I can give you to show you how this formula works is, let's say you work on some research. Now, this research is just research without you doing anything forward with it. But on the other hand, you choose a research topic that serves your community, that really helps people, that has valuable community impact. Then you maybe go on to publish your research in online peer-reviewed journals. You're able to get letters of recommendation. That is your validation right there. Now, this is not unheard of. High school students can absolutely do this. I've personally worked with hundreds of students through the International STEM Research Program and the Research Bootcamp by Incognito Blueprints, who have then gone to publish their research with valid community involvement. Now, all of these students are along the lines of being somewhere in high school, so grades 9 to 12, and most of them have even submitted this research part of their college applications and are getting so many admits. Like I mentioned earlier, colleges love to see this sort of validation-based activity, and this is great if you are interested in a research-based activity on your profile. We can also see these honors where a student was selected as a Young Student Innovator Award. This is an award given out by the Research Bootcamp by Incognito Blueprints. So again, if you participate or enroll in the Research Bootcamp, you have this opportunity to actually get this award yourself. I'm going to leave a link to both of these programs in the description below, so check it out. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of extracurricular activities that personally students that I've guided actually did and wrote in their college applications that helped them get into top Ivy League universities here in the US. So the first example I'd like to take is involvement with UN as an ambassador. As we can see, this is an activity that's beyond your school. Another example of a school-based activity is a director or a president of a club that you've started. Now, this particular student that we're looking at did something for teaching underprivileged girls. So again, something that had that community impact. Now, by all means, the reason for me showing you these examples is to be inspired so that you can see what works for you, what resonates with your personality, not for you just to copy and paste the same thing on your application. It's not going to help. Thousands of people watch these videos, and if everyone started doing this, it's not going to be helpful for anyone. So the point here is take inspiration, not plagiarism. The next activity is editor-in-chief of a school magazine. This is something that a lot of students can do. Even if there isn't a club that exists of some sort, it's very easy to start one. With social media, so easy. Nowadays, you can easily initiate this activity or club in your own school and offer to start an Instagram page and be regular with it. Because it takes 2 minutes for the college admission officer to open up the Instagram that you've mentioned and see if you've just posted 1 month before the college deadlines, or if you've been posting consistently for the last 2 to 3 years, which shows that this wasn't just done for college application purposes. Now, the next example we have here is published research. Again, I showed you guys the importance of published research, and this is exactly how you can present it in your activities section. Another great example is summer internships. Now, as high school students, please don't be greedy. Even if someone is offering you an unpaid summer internship, take it. The experience is what you're looking for at this stage, not the money. So if you can get a few summer internships under your belt, maybe some of them even overlap with time off or light burden time in school, do those. Get that experience, build that skill set. And then last activity that I want to just talk about is participating or helping out or volunteering in an NGO that's close to you. So this is something that doesn't always have to be related to the major that you're trying to study. It can very easily just be something you're interested in. Personally, for me, something that's close to my heart and something I personally care about is raising awareness for STEM-based subjects for girls in general. Girls in many countries, including India, are not given the push or the motivation that they should be receiving to pursue higher education. And anything that I can do personally to help promote that is something I'm passionate about. Now, if you think about it, this has absolutely nothing to do with engineering or healthcare or my degree, but it's just something that I care about. So some activities on your profile can be along those lines, just something that you care about in general. The activities section in general is to showcase what your personality is along with academics, what you're good at, show off everything you've done in the last 3 to 4 years. That's all I had to share. Again, a big disclaimer, please do not copy any of the activities that I've talked about. The list to all of the ones that I've spoken to will be in the description below, so you guys can check that out. View it, take inspiration, do not plagiarize or copy. It's not going to help you at all. And if you're looking for activities outside of your school, please don't make this excuse that my school has nothing or I don't have anything to do. They aren't giving it to me, right? No one's going to spoon feed you. A lot of students that get into these top colleges personally go out of the way and do something about it. If there's nothing available at your hand, enroll in the Research Bootcamp or the ISRP by Incognito Blueprints. Both these programs can literally be done sitting at home. You don't have to go anywhere. All you need is an internet connection and a device to watch and talk, basically. So if you're watching this video, you have everything you need to do these opportunities. So take advantage of those. Keep yourself informed. Random question for those of you that are still watching till this point. What is the one animal or bird or whatever that you are scared of, like terrified? I know for a lot of people it's spiders. For me personally, it's snakes. I cannot tolerate snakes. Like every time I go to the zoos, like something happens to me when I like watch them slither away. It's not fun. And just I cannot watch anaconda-based movies, just snakes in general. It's just something about the whole process and everything about their snakes that upsets me. So what is that one animal or bird for you? Drop that in the comments below. If you're watching till this point, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.